Hi, it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life, and today I am talking about DNA testing for weight loss. Now, we all know the general principles of what to do to lose weight. I'm sure as a midlife woman, you've done a few of these already. Eating less processed foods, less sugar, choosing whole foods, healthy foods, lots of vegetables, adequate protein, healthy fats, all that stuff. Excellent ways to eat a really healthy diet, which can often result in shedding excess pounds. But there is no one size fits all diet, no hormone diet, no menopause diet that works for absolutely everybody because we are all unique beings. We have different bodies, metabolisms, energy requirements, backgrounds, lifestyles, environments, and hormone levels. And we also have different genetic blueprints. I read some scientific research recently that indicates 40 to 80% of the variance in body weight can be attributed to your genes. That's incredible. And this whole field of nutrigenetics, this is what it's called, it really explores how our unique genetic makeup interacts with the foods that we consume. And that can shape, our own individual nutritional needs and responses. Basically, the genes you're born with can influence key processes in the body like insulin resistance, appetite control, cravings, inflammation, sleep, how you deal with macronutrients like carbs, fats, and protein. And all of that has an influential role in your weight. So that means you may be predisposed genetically to absorb fat more, or you're less able to metabolize carbohydrates, for instance, or you're more susceptible to weight gain generally because we have these things called obesity genes than the woman standing next to you. So it's incredibly fascinating, and it all adds into the tools that we can use to establish our own weight loss kind of toolbox, if you like. Because we deal a lot in women with weight loss resistance, because we know that weight gain is not just about diet and exercise; it's about a whole lot more, particularly women in midlife. Because we have so many more factors at play that can influence your metabolism and your weight. So you may be doing all the right things, but there's some underlying imbalance, or there's hormones issues going on, particularly cortisol, thyroid, insulin. There might be nutrient deficiencies going on that's impacting your weight. We look at gut and immune health as well to make sure your microbiome isn't causing inflammatory weight gain that we know it can now. All really great tools to identify what kind of root cause of this weight loss resistance if you're struggling to lose weight. But now we've got an extra tool in the kit, and that is DNA diet testing. And that is where we're looking at particular genes that play a role in like really key biological processes in the body that manage and regulate your weight. So this is things like that I've mentioned before: fat absorption, and metabolism. Got my teeth in today. So that's how you metabolize different types of dietary fat: saturated fat, monounsaturated fat, polyunsaturated fats, things like that. And knowing the way your body responds to these types of fats, or your genetics respond to that, you can adapt your diet to kind of the right amounts and types of fats. Carbohydrate response, really important as we go through peri and menopause, because we seem to be becoming more carbohydrate sensitive. But that can also be affected by our genes. We may be susceptible to, we may have genes that influence our blood sugar response and insulin resistance. And this can hugely impact, the type of diet that we need to adopt to progress our weight loss. Next one is exercise as well. We have gene variants that are responsible for regulating our energy expenditure, and that can inform how much and what type of exercise we need to do to be burning more fat more effectively. Circadian rhythms, so that is your day night cycle. And even this, our genes, we have genes that predispose us as to how well we sleep. And of course, that has a direct impact on our appetite and how many hunger hormones are playing up as well. The other things we look at: eating behaviors and your appetite. We have genes that affect your reward processing. So things like cravings, your appetite and your satiety, how full you feel. And so you can tailor, once you know this information, you can tailor your way of eating to kind of mitigate any behaviours that can result in things like overeating and addiction and cravings. And the last one we look at is inflammation. Again, there are gene variants that can stimulate, or you're more predisposed to pro-inflammatory processes in the body. And this can have a negative impact on your blood sugar regulation, your fat storing, as well as increase your risk of obesity, insulin resistance, and diabetes. So these are the things that are underlying in your genetic blueprint that we can know about, we can find out about, and then tweak your diet to respond to that. And it can be really, really useful. First of all, it can, if you've tried other testing or if you've tried other diets and ways of eating and you're still struggling, this can sometimes be the final piece. It's not a magic bullet, but it's more information that we can use to really personalize your particular program. It can help you understand why previous strategies might have failed. It can identify those specific genetic factors that impact your weight loss. And of course, it can, working with us and to interpret them, we can provide those personalised nutrition, exercise and supplement plans based on your genetic makeup. So it's very, very highly personalised. It doesn't look at disease risk. We're not into the DNA testing that looks at things like Alzheimer's and heart disease risk at all. This is nutrigenetic testing, and it really looks at the relationship between your genes, your nutrition and your health. So we can really go deep on your program and your protocols. Of course, that helps, if you manage to manage your weight properly, that's going to help with certain diseases such as the type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease, for instance, but it's not looking for those specific markers. And of course, like I said, it's not a magic pill. You still have to do the work, but by knowing what your genes are doing in these key areas, it can help you really target those particular areas and give you the best chance of managing weight as you get older. If you want more information on that, click the button below for more info and of course all the costs and everything, or you can contact us and book a call in and we can talk you through it and see if it's a good fit for you. Anyway, I hope that was interesting. I'm certainly fascinated by this, and hope you're all well, and I'll speak to you very soon.